Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Lombardy Cremona, Capital of Music and Beauty. Of course, this is another webinar organized by the Italian National Tourism Board of US and Canada. Of course, I want to acknowledge and thank all the attendees participating today. We really appreciate the effort you're making, the time you're taking off from your busy work schedule to learn more about Italy. Specifically, we have a lot of contingents from the United States. Every part of the United States cover. I see people from Oklahoma. I see people from everywhere, not just the coast. So we really appreciate that, and Canada as well. And on top of that, we have participants from Mexico and Puerto Rico. So hola everybody, and thank you very much for participating once again. Now, today it's a special presentation, and I want to say first and foremost, thanks to the generosity of our host today. Everybody is a winner. You all be receiving the chance, if you travel to Cremona in the next 2 years, to actually have access to the Cremona card, which will allow you to have a walking tour of the city and few discounts on museums and restaurants. But later on, both our speakers will sort of address that and will tell you more about it. So let's get excited. This is really remarkable. Talking about a destination that unfortunately is not as known, and fortunately is going to be addressed here today. It's of course Cremona. I want to welcome first and foremost from the project manager of Explora, Marta Zandona. Welcome, Marta Zandona. Yeah. And also we have locally right there in Cremona, we have Elena Piccioni, who she's a tourist guide, exceptional tourist guide from the city of Cremona. And we also have a special guest. I'm gonna just mention to him because he was in the invitation, so I don't want to be forgetting. We will later on meet Lutaio, a violin maker, traditional violin maker in the city of Cremona, and his name is Gaspar Borchardt. So we will also hear from him. But I'm gonna stop talking because I want to listen. I want to learn more about this beautiful destination. I'm sure the same with you. So Marta, take it away. Tell us why Cremona is so beautiful and everything about Cremona. Thank you very much, Marta.
Yeah, good morning to everybody. Thanks, Francesco, and thanks to the Italian National Tourist Board for this opportunity. Today, I am Marta, as Francesco already introduced me, and I represent Explora, that is the destination management organization of Lombardy region. Today, we will let you discover Cremona, that is one of the wonderful cities of our region. It's a small city, but it's really a jewel. And we organize for you a real travel with 2 special guests. So I'm sure that you will appreciate the destination. But before that, I want to just spend a few words to introduce Lombardy. Lombardy is located in the middle of the northern part of Italy. It's one of the biggest regions, the most populated, and in my opinion, one of the most various in terms of touristic offer. It has 3 main international airports that grant a good connection with the rest of the world. And Milan, that is the capital of the region, is considered to be one of the biggest European hubs for high-speed trains. You have also to consider that all cities are very close one to each other. For example, Cremona, that as you see in the map is in the south part of the region, is well connected with all our other cities of the region. In more or less 1 hour, you can arrive to Mantua, you can arrive to Brescia, you can arrive to Garda Lake, and you can also arrive to Iseo Lake. So it's really a wonderful starting point for a travel in the entire region. For example, you can plan an overnight stay or more nights in Cremona, and then organize a day trip to discover the other city of the region. I've just told you that Milan is the capital of the region, but it is also an international capital of fashion and design. But Lombardy is much more. It's the region of big lakes. We have 4 main and famous lakes and a lot of little ones. And it's also the region of Alps, region of nature and outdoor activities, with over 70 high altitude destinations, 24 regional parks and 1 national park, and more or less 2,500 of cycling paths. It's
Wow.
also the region, wow, yeah, you can start now and you will arrive more or less for Christmas, probably. It's also the region of relax and good food with 13 thermal spa and 12 roads of wine and flavors. And of course, last but not least, is the region of cultural city with 12 city of arts and 10 UNESCO heritage sites, plus one intangible heritage. And talking about intangible heritage, talking about city of arts, and talking about wonderful food, we can start our travel in Cremona. And I will introduce the destination with a video.
Perfect. Very cool, actually. So we saw some. I'm guessing what we also saw is the countryside, the little villages around Cremona. Is that what we
Yeah,
saw during?
yeah.
Very cool. They
It's
were
the
very cool.
surrounding.
Those games at the very beginning. I couldn't really quite make out the one with the ball. It looks pretty cool. It's very, very nice. So perfect. So thank you, Marta. And I believe now we are going in the living room of this very wealthy tourist guide in Cremona. Thank you very much for having us in this very understated living room you have there. Hi, Elena. So
Hi.
very exciting. She will sort of be, I'm guessing, sort of showing us around this beautiful, beautiful town. Somebody who has done it for quite some time and very knowledgeable of the town. So we are very happy to have you here today. So Elena, take it away. Tell us what you are and you know what it is so beautiful about this great, great city.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for coming to Cremona today. Unfortunately, this is not my living room. It's the building, the municipality. My name is Elena. I introduce myself. I am the manager of the municipality tourist office and also a tourist guide. I'm a local guide. I've been guiding tourists and visitors for 20 years. And I also am an amateur musician, so this is the right place for me to guide visitors because I like to show also the history, the art, but also music, which is a very important part of the city of Cremona, because Cremona is the place where the violins were born in the 50s of the 15th century. Now we are here in the town hall. It's an antique building dating back to 1206, and it is one of the monuments that are part of the beautiful medieval square that can be visited by tourists. The room here where we are is named the Red Room. It is the place where the mayor meets with the councillors. And it is also the place where we celebrate the civic marriages. You see, it's a beautiful room. There is an antique fire dating back to 15th century. It's considered a unique masterpiece of the Renaissance in Lombardy because it's completely carved into marble. beautiful antique original furniture, and this is a very good place where to start our visit. The building has a lot of rooms. I will show you some of these rooms that you can visit with your groups or individual tourists. For example, another beautiful room is this one, which is named Consulta Room. You see everything is antique and original. The virtues of the good government are painted on the roof, and we have beautiful original furniture and a mosaic on the pavement. And this is the place where we can also see a beautiful view on the major square. You can see probably the window just in front of you. This is the window from where we have a privileged view on the square. I show you. Can you see?
Oh, wow. Absolutely. Absolutely stunning. It's stunning.
Okay. So
if you can lower the camera a little bit, so I think we can see better the square, if it's possible. Just
can
to
you
show
see?
a little bit. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, you see in front of us, there is the main cathedral, the main church of Cremona. It's an antique building, antique church dating back to 1107, then destroyed by an earthquake, a very terrible one, dating back to 1117, and then rebuilt. We have the baptistry close to the church. That is an 8-sided building. It was used in the past to celebrate baptism for Christian faith. It is a very symbolic and important monument. And then we have the symbol of Cremona, the architectural symbol, which is the tower. The bell tower of Cremona, you see, it's a very tall tower. It is named Torrazzo, which means in Italian a very big tower. It's the symbol because it's 112 meters tall, so it is the tallest masonry brick tower all over Europe. You see, it's a very famous monument in Italy and in Europe, completely made in bricks. It has an antique astronomical clock, and from this window we have the best point of view on the tower because it's just in front of us. The window, the astronomical clock is considered the biggest in the world, and it has inside the original mechanism dating back to 1573. Still today in function. It is hand-wired every day by a person that is in charge to charge it every day. It's possible for tourists, visitors to climb the tower to the top. You can imagine there is a beautiful panorama on top of the tower because Cremona is in the middle of the river Po plain, so it is possible to see very far away. If it is a windy day like today, the sky is very clear. It's possible to see the Alps on the north and the Apennines on the south. And also to see the river Po plain all around Cremona, the houses, the roof of the houses, and it's very nice view. To climb the tower, there is no lift, but there are only 502 steps. It's very nice because there is a museum inside, which is named the Vertical Museum because it's different from a common museum. When you climb the steps, each floor you find a different part of the museum. Nice. Then I want to show you the square from here, which is considered the heart, historical and cultural heart of Cremona. This is the place where local people meet for an aperitivo, for something to drink together or to eat. You see, from here, for example, there are many people now. In Italy, it's about 7 p.m. and so it's the time when people they finish their job and they come in the square and they have an aperitivo together. So if you want to become a true Cremonese from one day, you can stay for a while in this beautiful square and admire the monuments all around you. It's a nice atmosphere. And all around the square, there are also some small streets, medieval streets. You can probably see something from here. Small streets like in the antique cities, where it is possible to find local shops. In particular, we have shops with typical food, the specialties of Cremona, or you can also see the shops of violins, which are workshops where the violin makers still work, because Cremona, as I told you, is the city of music. And I want to show you from here, for example, there is a painting in this room representing the tradition of music for Cremona. Maybe you can see. Can you see?
Yeah, we can see the painting. We don't see the detail, but yeah, we can see most of it. So that actually represents the tradition of music.
Yes.
That's
We
beautiful.
have in this painting the most important musicians or men linked to music of the history of Cremona. First of all, we mention Antonio Stradivari, who is considered the most famous of all the violin makers of the city. He was born in Cremona, he lived here, and he made here in Cremona about 101,000 instruments, violins, viola, cellos, all types of string instruments, pochette, guitars, Baroque guitars, obviously, and his violins are now very considered the best in the world, together with those of the other violin makers of the past. The family of Amati, with 3 generations of violin maker, the family of Guarneri, 3 other generations of violin maker, and the family of Antonio Stradivari. We have the tradition of violin making still continuing in Cremona, because we have the International School of Violin Making, and we also have a lot of violin makers, modern violin makers that still continue the tradition of the past. That is to say that they make violins completed by hand, using the same tools and the same woods that Stradivari used in the past. We have in town
I think we're missing out a little bit, Elena.
150 violin makers workshops, and it is possible.
Elena, I think we are losing you. You're probably in a part of the building where it doesn't have coffee.
We have in town about 150 violin makers workshops. Okay, so I come back.
Yeah, Elena. Yes, your coverage.
Can you hear me?
Now you're fine. I can see you. I can see you. Yes, now.
Yes.
I cannot hear you. Okay.
Okay. So I stay here. So we have in town about 150 violin makers workshops. Some of them, they also organize visits for tourists, for visitors who are interested to have an in-depth into this very unique tradition of Cremona. And that is why I want to take you in one of these workshops and show you the tradition that still lives today.
That's what we wanted. Perfect. That's fantastic. Yeah. So I'll be see you later. I guess you'll walk in there, and just so that we don't have, in all honesty, we wish we could show you the walk, but there's some issue with some, the coverage of, as you might have seen on the internet. So no, do not make it weird. We're gonna say goodbye for a second to Elena, who's gonna walk briefly to the store, and then in the meantime, Marta, we're gonna show you something. I'm guessing. Do we have a video?
Yeah, we have another video.
Perfect. So let's watch a beautiful video, and so that gives Elena time to get to the store.
Here, everything is a rhythm. The land tells old and new tales about fields, hard work, dreams, the pride of old traditions and glory, in an infinite flow of past and present that mingle together toward the future. An elegant and continuous stroll, where the land meets the water and flourishes, and the sky chases it along the banks of its majestic river, opening up to uncontaminated places with dazzling light reflections or softer tones wrapped in mist. Cremona is a perpetual concert, from the guarded jewels in its museums to the first stone laid along the Po's river banks, from Torrazzo, which towers above the red terracotta rooftops, to the famous school where the ancient art of making violins constitutes a heritage for humanity. Cremona is like a music score of tasteful melodies, bringing together tradition and study, beauty and softness, a concentration of vital energy. And so the opera begins. The essence of Cremona can be found in a journey through its streets, among the people, in its old characteristic shops and markets, which are fundamental in the lives of the characters that have made its history. A journey through traditions that repeat in time and yet always seem new, because without the past, there can be no future.
If there was ever a need to put images with the words that Elena had before, I think this served like perfectly. I mean, all the things that I remember she just mentioned, to see them come to life. And the things I have to say, by seeing these images and also some of the things that we saw before by walking around, hello Elena, is the fact that it looks like a very elegant city. I mean, Cremona strikes me like, you know, one of those few cities that we have in Italy that really enjoyed for prosperity for quite some time, and it's really has sort of developed this sort of elegance about it that really is striking. And of course, the celebration of all of that with the production of this incredible instrument. So, Elena, where are you now?
Okay, I am in a very special place here. It's one of the 150 workshops of violin makers. These makers, they came in Cremona years ago, or they are young makers, but they have one single thing altogether. They want to continue the tradition of Stradivari, Amati, and Guarneri, and they make the violins, which are like masterpieces, completely by hand. You see, this is the masterpiece of Gaspar Borchardt, the violin maker that hosts has today. And I want to show the workshop of him, where it is also possible to organize some visits. You see, this is the place where the workshop.
Hello, Gaspar. Hello. Thank you for having us.
I'm working. He's working to his violin. Yeah. You see, the traditional method in Cremona starts from the internal mold. Exactly. The template is the one that Gaspar is working on, is typical of the Cremonese method, taken from Stradivari, from Amati. With the gouges, he is preparing the template to make his violin.
In fact, I'm working on a template which is very similar to the violin of the famous violinist Milstein, who had a beautiful Stradivari. So
there we go.
It's a milestone still today for us.
Yes. So tell us something about the tradition. So you make violins using the woods and tools.
Yeah, sure. A very funny thing is, very probably the violin making came from Venice, and so the woods which were used came from Venice. So one wood is this incredibly beautiful maple, which has mother pearl-like shining, and it's because it's grown as curly hair like this. And so we can see this wonderful figure, and also this is the bag for the violin, and this wood is from Bosnia and it's acoustical, while another piece, the belly is made by spruce, and that comes from Val di Fiemme here in Italy. It's very acoustical. Also, if I touch it, you can hear there's sound inside. It's really acoustical. So this is very seasoned.
So these are very special woods that are imported today, like in the time of Stradivari. Exactly. When Stradivari lived in Cremona, the woods came on the River Po, which is the longest river in Italy. It was possible to reach the river from Cremona because it was very close nearby. And the luthiers, they purchased the pieces of wood. Then the wood is seasoned, you see.
Yeah, sure. So, for example, this piece of wood, I bought it in the valley. It was a log. And I bought it in 2008, so it's much more than 10 years seasoned in my storage. The first year's outside, and then inside a room.
Fantastic.
So you see the color is beautiful, and it becomes also more acoustical.
And then we have the tools here that are used for making violins. So each step is made by hand. It's completely realized by hand from the beginning to the end. And it's about 200 hours of job for the violin maker, carving with gouges, then using scrapers and planes. It can get a beautiful result at the end. And I want to ask Gaspard something about his experience, why he came in Cremona, why he chose this very important job for the city of Cremona.
Yeah, so I'm German. My mother was a musician. She at the end she did not play professionally because she had children, but this love for music was inside me, and so when I searched a profession, violin making was what I liked a lot. It's something between science, art, and music, and sculpture, and so as I informed myself, I saw that the best violin making school was here in Cremona, and when I visited Cremona, I saw so many makers which were making their own, everyone its own masterpiece, not standard, and I liked it a lot, and so I began to make the violin making school, and it was really a nice experience.
So did you attend, I didn't ask you, yes, I'm sorry, Ellen, if I interject. Gaspar, did you attend a school there when you decided to move to Cremona, or do you went to work in a shop and somebody taught you?
Hai deciso di fare la scuola qui?
Yeah, I decided to make the school here because we had also very good masters. The first master was very, very precise, and the second was wanted that we finish also, so he was more practical perhaps, and so I have to be grateful to both masters.
Awesome.
Yeah, and later I met another master, and that's wonderful here in Cremona that so many masters are here. So for my musical ear, I met a master who was also a very good musician. And so he helped me a lot, and yeah, that's very important because it's something, it's transmission and something you can learn in a school, but more fine things you can learn with a good master. And that's possible here in Cremona with 150 violin makers.
Do you yourself teach? Do you teach yourself?
Pardon?
We didn't understand very good.
Tu insegni il violino? Do you teach?
Yeah,
you
so
teach violin making?
I had two pupils, but at the end it was a beautiful experience. And one of these pupils is now a professional violin maker with good success. But
wow.
I prefer to have my intimacy with my work, and I see that for me it's very important to make violins that are good enough for musicians to stay by myself.
The world.
These
Awesome.
are violins that are destined to professional violinists because it's a long job to make them. They are true masterpieces and they have a certain cost. And they have also a special sound. So it's not a fabric violin, but it's a very different sound, which can be preferred by professional musicians. For example, you see here another violin, which is
viola.
It's a viola.
Oh my Lord. Amazing.
This is quite at the end. Then there is the varnishing. So when you want to visit the workshop of a violin maker, it is possible. The visit lasts about 45 minutes, 1 hour, according to the interest of the group. But the workshops, you see, they are not very big. I want to show you this one, for example. It's very nice. But it's a small place because usually the violin makers, they work alone in the workshop. So it's good for a group of 7 to 10 persons per time. So if you have a bigger groups, it is possible to split in different workshops. And we have the violin makers speaking different languages, so it's possible to host them in English, in French, etc. But it's very nice, a unique experience for Cremona. Cremona, because you don't find anywhere in Italy this kind of experience for tourists. When you enter the workshop, it's really a unique atmosphere. It's like to go in the past, in the workshop of Stradivari, where you can feel the smell of the varnish, of the wood, and you can feel like to be in the 18th and 19th century and work to be with these big masters working here.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's in fact, I think something which is especially on high level in Italy is where art and handwork and also science is together. Surely the violin is like an invention of Leonardo. Perhaps it's not from Leonardo, but it's more or less of that time. And the incredible thing which Andrea Amati found out is how to make a violin which is very thin but also very stable. So his geometric construction was absolutely stable, and that gave a life of 500 years to these instruments. And every violinist in the world wants instruments from these violins of Cremona.
Wow. Fantastic.
And if you want to also to listen the sound of these beautiful violins, it is possible to organize a recital in the workshop of the violin maker with a professional violinist playing one of his violins. So you can see how they are made, but also you can hear the voice of these amazing instruments.
Thank you.
And
This
for
is
Gaspar,
so special.
it's a special place because if you look out the window of his workshop, we are exactly in the square. I don't know if you can see, but there is the cathedral just in front of us.
Yeah.
So it's a very special place.
Yes, we cannot glance it. Yeah.
In general,
absolutely.
all the workshops, they are located very close to the medieval square. It's not far away, so it's a walking distance everywhere here in Cremona. 5 maximum 10 minutes to reach the workshops. By foot.
Perfect. This is incredible. Thank you, Gaspar. This is just really remarkable. We really try to convey to our attendees sort of the human aspect of this beautiful city, and of course, the embodiment of all that as definitely people like yourself. I know you probably can't hear me, it doesn't matter, but I want to really thank you. And it looks like we're sort of infringing, so we want to let you keep on going and produce these beautiful instruments. Thank you again very much for having us.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure.
Thank you, Gaspar. Ciao,
Thank you very much, Gaspar, and see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. This was incredible, Elena. Grazie. This is really, I think,
Did you enjoy?
It really does. Yes, absolutely. It comes to life, sort of the city, and sort of, as I was saying before to Marta, even seeing the video while you were walking, it really associated some of the things that you were saying. It really makes them pop. And of course, talking to that great guy, I mean, it really makes the whole difference. But so we went to the town hall. Now we went to the violin maker shop. What else is to do in this beautiful town? What else can I do in the spare time that I'm left in the city?
Square, and other things that you can do in Cremona, all at walking distance, is to visit museums. We have the Violin Museum, which is completely dedicated to the history of violins. We have the antique original instruments of Antonio Stradivari, Amati and Guarneri in the museum. And it is also possible to listen the sound of an original instrument of Stradivari in the auditorium. It's a modern auditorium planned when the museum was inaugurated in 2013. And in the auditorium with a special acoustic, the violins are played for groups, for tourists. There is a recital quite every day where you can attend and listen to this beautiful voice. Then we have the art gallery with a lot of paintings dating back to the period from medieval age to modern times. The two most famous paintings are the Arcimboldo, the portrait made with vegetables, which was the symbol of the Expo exhibition in Milan years ago, and also the painting of Caravaggio, St. Francis in Prayer. And then we have the Archaeological Museum and the museum on the tower, on the Torrazzo. Also, it is possible to see and to appreciate the naturalistic landscape because we are in the River Po plain. If you want to organize a cruise on the River Po, it is possible to go on a boat and go around Cremona. In general, the cruises are about 2 hours of cruise on the boat, it is possible to have lunch or an aperitivo at the sunset, which is very nice and amazing atmosphere on the river. Or it is also possible to listen some music also at the sunset or during the day as you like. And it is also possible to organize a bike tour. Here it is very easy to bike because we are in the plain, so you can go.
It's all flat for everybody. There's no climbing.
And we have a specialized guide also for bike tours, and you discover the landscape of the River Po Plain and visit some of the monuments outside. For example, small churches, the cascine, which are the farms where it is possible to see the typical products also of Cremona, because during the walking tour, during the bike tours, and also on the boat, on the river, it is possible to taste the specialties of Cremona. Do you know the specialties?
No, in fact, what I was going to ask you, because we started in the video this amazing sort of food. Of course, here it's the right time to do it. So yes, of
salami, because we have a lot of growing cows in the farms. We have salami. We have cheese, the famous grana padano that you probably have before.
Yeah.
And also provolone, which is a seasoned cheese that can be sweet or spicy. We have mostarda, which is not mustard at all, but it's made with many fruits coming from all the regions of Italy, which are melted with mustard, with sugar and honey. And so it's a very strange taste, both spicy and sweet. And we used to eat mostarda with boiled meat or with cheese. It's a very special food from our region. And then the typical sweet, which is the nougat, named Torrone. This name comes from the tower. You see, a tower that is now named Torrazzo. It was in the past the Torrione. And so during the marriage of Bianca Maria Visconti and Francesco Sforza in Cremona in 1441, the bride, she wanted a special sweet with the shape of the tower. And that was named Torrone. It was made with almonds, white of eggs, and honey, and it became the strong nougat that is typical also today in Cremona.
Yeah. It's so good. I have to say, even I'm not from Cremona, I grew up with Torrone, especially at Christmas time, it's the thing to have.
Yes,
and I just want to tell the attendees, you actually saw the Torrone, because towards the end of the video, the one when I think you actually can see it, you might have seen it's like this long whitish sort of like again it's not really a cake, but sweets that was cut with a very big blade. So just as a reminder to our visitors. But before I want to move along, I forgot, because it was so compelling that I want to make sure that our attendees are still awake, that are not watching Netflix, they are listening to us. So we have a quick poll and to see if they actually were listening to us. So if you don't mind, Ellen, I'll send out these very quick questions and I'll open it to all the attendees to be able to answer. So you will see yourself, it's a very simple question. If you get it wrong, it means probably you weren't listening to us. And I'll launch it right now. So you have a few seconds to do it. And once again, here we go, we open the poll. So in order to be able to see it and to vote, by the way, you need to actually exit the full screen. I don't know if you're able to see it. And it's a very simple question. So which of these famous Italians was born in Cremona? So we have been talking about it, Stradivari, Paganini, Verdi, or Puccini. So let's see if you get it right. It looks like 38% of you already has voted. I can hear you, Elena, by the way. So can you hear me? So I give all of you a few more seconds. If you're not able to Elena, I can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely, I can hear you. So
I know the right answer.
I know. In fact, I'm just allowing people to vote. We have about 60% already voted. I'm going to give a few more seconds and I'll close and see how many they actually got it right, which I think it's a large majority. Okay, perfect. I'm going to close the poll right now. If you're not able to vote, don't worry about it. It's just, again, for the sake. I'm going to share the results, and here we are. 85%. Wow, nice. Okay, so they were listening. There are some people, they gave you also the option to have Paganini, Verdi, Puccini, which is not too bad, but unfortunately for them, they were not born in Cremona. So great, perfect. So we have some some good. I mean, people that start and
Yes,
they were listening to your.
but Giuseppe
to your
Verdi home place is not far from Cremona. In fact, we are at about 30 minutes by car or by bus to the home place of Giuseppe Verdi, the famous Italian composer of the 19th century.
Perfect,
So it's nice
perfect.
to link the two cities because of music. Cremona for violins and also for Claudio Monteverdi, the inventor of the opera of melodrama,
Yes,
who was born in
of course.
Cremona and started his career here. And then the places of Giuseppe Verdi, because it's not far away and it's very nice also to see the two places together to link for those that love music.
Thank you very much. So I have a question for either one. I don't know who wants to take it, either Marta or Elena. Thinking of the attendees, as you know, the people attending are the travel agents or tour operators or even travel writers for that matter, so people that are, of course, in the business of tourism. The question that I have, it looks to me that this beautiful destination could actually be a very good place where people can base themselves to explore the surrounding of Cremona, but even the rest of the region, because it feels to me that it has sort of this comfortable environment where it's not overrun by tourism, and it's a very sort of accessible city. It looks extremely elegant. There is so many different options also in terms of entertainment. But the question I have to you: how well connected is Cremona with the rest of the region? How easily can you get around the area? Is that complicated, or is something that it's doable?
Okay, no, it is not complicated at all. The position of Cremona, located in the southern part of Lombardy, is very good to travel to the different cities of Lombardy and north of Italy. In fact, many tour operators, they organize, they stay overnight in Cremona for some days, and from here they leave to Milan, to Lake of Garda, which is only 1 hour from here, both Milan and Lake of Garda. They can go to Verona, 1 hour and a half, or to the Lake of Como, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, or go to Bologna, 2 hours. So it's a good position where you can reach in a very short time the different cities all around. Venice, for example, is 2 hours and a half. And the possibility here in Cremona is to live in a very quiet city where you don't find a lot of tourists. You don't have a queue when you go to the museums. You find a beautiful churches with a lot of space around you. And it's very comfortable for the hotels, which are not so expensive, because it's not like in a very big city like Milan or the big metropolitan cities of Italy. So it's like to become Cremonese for some days and Italian for some days, and to understand the way of life that we have here in our city.
Perfect. I have a question from. I'm going to read a few questions, as I said before. One from one of the attendees. Do you know? Can you share with us the name of the palace where you started the webinar? I know it's at the town hall. Does it have a name?
Yes. No, it's named Palazzo del Comune, which means the town hall. It is an antique building. It dates back to 1206, but it's still today the seat of the municipality. So the rooms that we have visited before, and that is possible to visit with groups, these are in use. So they are used by the municipality, by the mayor, by the councillors for the meetings, for also weddings. It is also possible to rent some of the rooms for special events, for dinners, etc. So it's completely new, like the other monuments. For example, the baptistry is a monument that you can visit, but it is also used for baptism today. And the church, the cathedral that you see behind me, is still the cathedral of the city. So it's the place where the bishop celebrates offices every day. And also the bell tower is still today the bell tower. So if you come at 6 p.m., you can listen the sound of the bells playing, the antique bells dating back to 18th century, dedicated to the patron saints of the city, and you can hear the sound of this beautiful tower.
There's another question, Elena. Of course, this is it's always like a broad, question about when to come. But this specifically is there a annual event or special yearly event that if I have the options to actually come to Cremona and says, okay, if you come those days, there is this festivity, there is this annual. When do you know if there is some sort of annual event that it should not be missed in the city of Cremona? That
I am sorry, but I cannot hear you. Can you repeat, please?
the question is, do you know, or does Cremona have an annual event that can either be an historical representation or some sort of religion feast that it's a great way for tourists to be attending just to see Cremona during sort of a festivity kind of environment? Is there such a thing as a an annual event happening in the city that should not be missed?
Yes, it is possible to join different events when you come to Cremona, both musical events. We have the Monteverdi Festival between May and June, which is completely
Nice.
dedicated to Baroque and antique music, with many ensemble, choirs, and musicians, soloists also, coming from all over the world to play in the churches, in the town theater, Teatro Ponchielli, or in the buildings, in the palaces. Then we have Stradivari Festival, organized by the Violin Museum Foundation, which is between September and October, with concerts dedicated to violins and string instruments. And also in this case, we have very important interpreters coming from the rest of the world. Each season is different, dedicated to musicians or violins or different aspects of violin of a string instrument. And then we have the town theater, organizing opera, organizing the traditional season from September, October to the spring, more or less. Concerts, opera, dance, and many things. And then we have traditional feasts. Probably one of the most famous in Italy is the Torrone Feast, which is the festival of the nougat, which is held every year in November, the second and third week of November, more or less, but it can change the date according to the different years, and it's completely dedicated to the nougat. So we have in the square here, in the medieval square, but also in the squares all around of this place, we have many booths exhibiting and selling the nougat. We speak about nougat from Cremona, but also from the rest of the region of Italy. So from the south of Italy, from Veneto, from Piemonte, and not only nougat, but also chocolate, sweet, and so many things. And we have also the commemoration of the marriage between Bianca Maria Visconti and Francesco Sforza. So in the square, we have a beautiful feast with people dressed with the antique, medieval and the Renaissance dresses.
It's like a reenactment, no?
Yes.
Like a reenactment.
The marriage of Bianca Maria Visconti and Francesco Sforza. After the Torrone, the Nougat Festival, the week after, we have the dentist festival, obviously, because so many things.
Of course,
No,
it's sponsored by the Association of Dentistry of Cremona, of course.
But we also have, for example, between September, October, and also in April, we have the cheese festival dedicated to Grana Padano and the other cheese from this land, and also the Mostarda festival, completely dedicated to mustard and the salami. So each part of the traditional specialties has its own festival.
It's all year round.
You can join the booth, you can taste, etc. So this is the right place to taste.
Perfect.
And,
I mean, on this note, it looks like every season it's a good season to go to Cremona because there's always something to do. It's always
you don't have to choose.
You don't have to choose. You have to choose. Bring your floss, your dental floss, and your toothpaste.
Right.
But other than that, you're fine. So I want to thank you. This, of course, has been a lot of information. I'm sure a lot of our attendees will be sending out questions on the subject matter. But once again, I want to thank, of course, Marta and Elena for having us. This has been really, really extraordinary. I think our attendees really appreciate being exposed to a destination otherwise has received as much attention as it should be. So this, of course, concludes the webinar. To our attendees, we are telling them you will receive a survey email following us, and so you can give us the feedback if you get enough information, if you want more, and moreover, if we have to change something about how we do the presentation so that we can serve you better. Before I let you go, of course, I want to thank all the staff from the Tourism Board of Canada and the United States, of course, from our Toronto office, Salvatore and Sabrina, from our Los Angeles office, Fabrizio and Emanuela, and from our New York office, Caterina, Cosmo and Marzia. Thank you very much. I'll see you at the next one, and goodbye. Grazie, grazie infinite la vostra ospitalità. Grazie.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Bye.
arrivederci, ciao.
Ciao, 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 ciao. See you at the next